my main takeaway from this movie. Ready? Henry Golding? Wait, hang on just a second. My friend bought me a basketball goal for the studio, and my high score is 4. To be fair, I'm still practicing. What was I saying? What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel, Snake Eyes, an origin story. G.I. Joe is back. I need you guys in the comments down below. What is your favorite G.I. Joe movie so far? And are you excited for this film? Let's do it. So Snake Eyes is a tenacious loner who is welcomed into an ancient Japanese clan after saving the life of their heir apparent. Upon his arrival in Japan, he is taught the ways of the ninja warrior while also providing something he's been longing for, and that's a home. But when secrets of his past are revealed, Snake Eyes' honor and allegiance will be tested, even if that means losing the trust of those closest to him. Henry Golding is Snake Eyes. Samara Weaving is Scarlet in this film, and I was really excited to see what she could do. She is one of my favorites in the business right now. And even though I don't know if she was used to her full potential, it's still fun seeing her in a film like this. And this movie is very different compared to the other G.I. Joe films because the tone attempts to be a bit darker, whereas the first two films, they had this level of cheese about them, even though the sequel did sort of stray away from that. This one goes even further down that path and focuses much more on honor and legacy, and it attempts to give Henry Golding Snake Eyes some character development, albeit a bit of a different kind of character than G.I. Joe fans may be used to. Now, I'll say this, I'm not swept up in the lore of G.I. Joe, but Snake Eyes has always been a very specific character for me. One that, you don't know as much about as some of the other characters on the team, but just through those subtle movements and what we see him involved in the team-up films, we get a great idea of who he is. And who he is very different from what this origin story is, although it is an origin story. And I, for one, I'm okay with attempting to kind of reshuffle some of the things about him as long as you make it compelling. Now, I will say, there are some compelling aspects about this movie. Tommy, Storm Shadow, he is fantastic. And honestly, at various points throughout the film, and we know Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, inevitably that's going to lead us somewhere, but in this film, there is a relationship there, and there's chemistry there, but at points, I'm sitting here going, am I Team Tommy? I didn't know that was a thing going in. But now I'm kind of like, maybe I'm Team Tommy. Because even though Golding is great, he's charismatic, he's everything you want him to be in a role like this, the writing for his character paints him in such a light that maybe sometimes he's hard to get behind, whether it be the decision-making or just some things about his character. And because of that, I was somewhat rooting for others at times. Now, I don't know if that was the mission of the movie, but that's the way it was presented. And I could look at that and say, well, that's very compelling writing because they're attempting to give us both sides of this character. But I could also sit back and say, I don't know if they did a good job of making Snake Eyes the focus of his own origin story. Okay, he's the focus, I'll say that. But I don't know if they made him likable enough to get behind at times. Again, Golding, fantastic. Andrew Koji, really, really great. Hard Master, Blind Master. There's so many characters in this film that are standouts. But when you bring all of those characters together in a story that is just so familiar, it's not to say there's not fun to be had in this film. I mean, it has its moments, right? It has its cast, which is brought together in such a way. But then you get into kind of the crux of a movie like this. It's an action movie. So we want action. We also want lots and lots of Snake Eyes. Well, I'm here to say we get a version of Snake Eyes, but a lot of people will be anticipating a thing to happen or some consistency within that thing. I'm trying not to spoil this film. And that's looked at in the trailer as, yeah, you're definitely going to get that. And then we watch the movie and we're like, no, we definitely don't get that. And all throughout the film, I'm sitting and waiting on it to happen. And I'm like, and not that that will be a requirement for everyone. It's not going to be. But if you're looking for one specific thing in this film, you're probably not going to get it. What you do get is great choreography, great stunt work that is covered up by really poor cinematography. The camera work in this film, it's really, really shaky. and very close up to the point to where it was jarring. And, some movies do it extremely well, like the Bourne franchise. They kind of started this trend and they almost perfected it at a point. And then other movies took that and they put their own spins on it. Some of them worked, some of them did not. This movie doesn't work because there's points where you just watch it. You just want to figure out what's going on. I know there's punching happening. This is cool, but I can't really tell what's going on. Did somebody just get hit? Okay. It's an action movie that fails on the action. Even though there are fun moments with our characters, a little bit of humor in there, maybe not as much as a lot of people will expect. I don't necessarily need that in a film like this. Okay, some lore that is interesting, couple of storylines that I could have completely done without, and characters the same exact case. And then you get into the action, and it's almost every single action scene. There are points to where it's really cool, and I'm like, yeah, Golding was obviously doing a great job, or Golding stunt person, they hit it well. But again, man, when you just have that kind of cinematography, it feels clunky, it feels underwhelming, and it makes this movie as familiar as they come. It's one of those you go into, you may get some enjoyment out of it, but within 2 days of watching the film, it's a dump truck movie, goes in your brain, all right, you're going to dump truck it out, you're going to forget about it in a week. That's exactly how I feel about Snake Eyes, unfortunately. And director Robert Schwenke, he has done it in the past. A movie like The Captain, a movie like Red, which is so much fun. But other films like Insurgent and Allegiant and R.I.P.D. and Snake Eyes, unfortunately, falls more so in that category. Honestly, I feel as if this was just a random character with random lore, and we do get a few G.I. Joe references in this movie. I like the fact that that wasn't the focus, but they take that lore and they switch it up in a way to where this could have just been a different movie, and maybe it would have worked better because we know this character to be a certain way, and I understand this is the origins of that, but if the execution was better, I would have been more on board with the story. Unfortunately, it was not. So before I give you guys my score, thank you so much for watching. Are you a G.I. Joe fan, or are you just looking for a fun little movie? So, featuring clunky action sequences and an underwhelming use of the title character, Snake Eyes struggles to stand out from the crowd. My score for this film is a 42%. Again, it's not the tragedy that maybe some people expected. There are some fun moments, and some of the characters are standouts, mostly because of the cast, and I like Henry Golding quite a bit. It's just the movie as a whole couldn't quite come together, and that, cinematography just didn't work for me, so unfortunately, I wasn't a big fan of Snake Eyes, but again, it's all about what you guys think down below. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Thank you so much once again for joining me, and stay tuned. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day for reviews, so I'm going to try to break my high score. Nope, still bad. You just watch it, you just want to figure out what's going on.